Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 12 of the F1 2002 career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here at Ferrari's home Grand Prix. This is the race we really want to win this season because we are back at the Temple of Speed at Monza. Of course, if you missed out on the last video that went live a few days ago from Belgium, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It actually ended up being quite a chaotic race out in the Ardennes, so hopefully we can try and have a bit of a cleaner run this weekend here. We are 20 points back behind Heinz-Harald Frentzen at the moment after Jacques Villeneuve took his first win since all the way back at the Spanish Grand Prix very early on in the campaign. Admittedly, 61 points back, it's still going to be difficult for the Canadian to get back into the championship hunt, but you never know what might happen late on in the year. 5 races to go though. It is still all to play for between myself and Frentzen. Both of us has finished on the podium every single Grand Prix apart from one each, which is quite a mad stat as well there. But I think what's even more mad is the fact Villeneuve, apart from the races he's DNF from, he would have been on the podium in every single Grand Prix as well. So certainly it's been an unlucky year for Jacques up to this point. Get yourself subscribed if you're new. We're trying to hit 140,000 subs, and if you want to get early access to all of these videos as well, you can click the join button for just £1 a month. Like I said, gets you early access to all the videos and a few other little perks as well that hopefully you guys will enjoy. But yeah, let's head out then onto the Italian Grand Prix circuit. Hopefully we can get the win. If ever there was a qualifying session where we wanted to try and get a good lap time on the board, surely here at Monza is gonna be that circuit. Very, very difficult to overtake around here in this game because, of course, everybody just spends so much time right on the red line then. So all the time it's probably gonna have to be made up through the corners. There is plenty of curving through turn 1 and turn 2 then. I would expect this to be a good track for Williams, but also the likes of Sauber and Jordan I would expect to do pretty well here as well. Not sure how we're going to fare in our Ferrari car though, so we'll have to wait and see as we try and dance our way through the chicanes. Of course, the big thing as well is avoiding any kind of oversteer, because that will really, really cost us obviously down through the next straight section of the circuit. So right over the curbing on the exit of the second Lesmo there, but you can see already Frentzen pulling away at the front of the order. This is not what we need. If anything, I'd rather Jacques Villeneuve claims pole position. He had a pretty terrible run though last weekend in Belgium, and so far this lap doesn't really look like it's going in our direction either, as we're up to P5 then by the end of Sector 2, but it has been a ragged lap around this venue. Get the power down at that final corner. I think it's going to be P5 on the grid then, unless someone can pip us on the run towards the line. It is P5. That could have been better. It could have been worse. So then, I don't know how many times we've said it so far this year, but Williams with yet another front row lockout, although admittedly Michael Schumacher only 1/1000th of a second away from Jacques Villeneuve there. Button will split the Ferrari cars with both Saubers just behind. Wirtz ahead of Webber and David Coulthard. As you can see, yeah, BAR really struggling here for straight line speed. So was Jordan. I thought they'd be really good around this venue, but apparently not. And to the shock of maybe nobody, Minardi a second away from anybody else at the rear of the field.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations. And it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds up to 215 miles per hour and an average lap speed of around 155 miles per hour, Monza's reputation as one of the fastest circuits in the sport is well earned. We have 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with the best overtaking chance coming into the heavy braking zone of the Turn 1 chicane.
Well, here we are then down on the grid, ready for the Italian Grand Prix, and yeah, this is going to be a race that we absolutely need to deliver at. I don't know how aggressive we can go on fuel, to be honest. I think obviously where we're sat on the red line, we do burn through quite a lot of it around this venue. I might also just take a little bit of wing out the front of the car, just so we've got a bit more straight line speed. I think ultimately everybody's going to be sat at 208 miles an hour. It's going to be a lot of battles on the brakes as we head into this one. But we need to get a good start here today. Frentzen, our rival in P1. It's 5 red lights. It's going to be lights out. Oh, and away we go then, trying to avoid getting too much wheel spin there. But we have not responded well on the run towards Turn 1. Both those Saubers will try and get past me there. So does Alexander Wurz as well. So yeah, really not the ideal start we would have wanted there, as Schumacher trying to battle with Jacques Villeneuve as well, just up in front. We have only lost a couple of places though, which is not good, but based on this Ferrari standard so far this year, is not too bad either. As immediately then straight up towards the red line here. I'm just hoping that those Williams cars can't pull away from everybody else, as it already looks like Schumacher starting to come under pressure from Jenson Button, and this is not what we need already. Our teammate there really struggling. Wurz trying to look down the inside of Jarno Trulli. So we've got yellow flags out a little bit further behind. Could we now try and get a run on the Renault car then, as we make our way down the back straight? Nope, you get up towards that top end speed, and then nobody's got anything against anybody there. But yeah, for Williams, especially in Ferrari's backyard, this has been the dream start to the Grand Prix. We definitely seem to have a bit more speed getting up towards the top end. But yeah, definitely just obviously nothing more when we get there over Alexander Wurz. So we've just got to try and settle in, get into a rhythm here nice and early. I think Schumacher needs to do the same thing. But Frentzen then will lead the way at the end of lap 1. Are we going to be able to go for anything on Wurz backing towards that first corner? If anything, I think he's just got a tiny bit extra speed over us. But we will have a bit of a look to the inside there. I mean, he's got to expect it, hasn't he, surely? And up then back into P6. We can make overtakes. But I'm starting to feel like Jenson Button is just holding up Jarno Trulli and myself a little bit here. Of course, Jenson will want redemption for last weekend's Grand Prix back in Belgium. Of course, very unlucky. That mechanical failure ultimately cost him the opportunity at a big result then, as we will put alongside Jarno Trulli back in towards Turn 1. Look at that, both of us just gaining a little bit on the BAR, sorry, on the Renault even, until we get right towards the top end. Down the inside of Jarno Trulli we will go, and up then back to where we started in this GP. So now, yeah, I'm pretty certain your top 5 exactly the same as it was. Even your top 6 might be exactly the same as qualifying, but Schumacher's starting just to pull away a little bit. But I think if we can get around JB, we have got the pace over our teammate. I mean, look at the run we're able to get on JB. Top end speed, definitely for that Renault. It just struggles to quite get all the way up to its top end at the moment, it would appear. As well, that is not the line we wanted through at the final corner there. But yeah, we definitely are able to get a little bit of a run on Jenson Button then back in towards Turn 1. I know I've mentioned it before, but people do keep asking me. DRS does nothing with these cars. Absolutely nothing at all. So I thought about a run in towards Turn 1. But that's definitely not what we needed to do there. Both hands off the steering wheel. Not ideal. Again, then getting another big run on Jenson Button down in towards that final corner. We can almost put alongside, but just don't really want to go wheel to wheel through that final turn, especially we're going to be able to do something on the run back in towards Turn 1 here. I mean, this Ferrari, it's so much fun to drive this V10. Sort of Button. Just want to try and give us a little bit of a squeeze there, but we will pull alongside. It's a very weird kind of racing in this mod at the moment, but we will make it through and up then into P4. Next up is going to be the Michael. But yeah, those Williams have just bolted free yet again. I always said, after Monza, Hopefully we're going to be able to be more competitive against them because we head to more high downforce circuits. On these tracks of top speed, Williams, pretty much since I think 2000, have just been that bit quicker than everybody else. And I have no idea how. Oh, there we go. Michael Schumacher then. That's a very early pit stop in this Grand Prix. Not too sure why he's dived in then. But I guess that's going to promote us then up into P3 so we can try and work the overcut on our teammate here. Tyre wear feels absolutely fine, so I'm guessing he just wants to get it out of the way and then just kind of settle in for the second half of the Grand Prix. But my plan is to try and extend this first stint as far as I can. Maybe we get lucky with a safety car. Well, there we go. Villeneuve as well into the pit lane then, so he's opting for the hard compound tyre to get him through to the checkered flag. I mean, even when I absolutely nail it, our best lap is still half a second slower than what either of those Williams are able to do at the moment. So it's just another weekend of Williams having too much pace. But like I did think, Hungary, Monaco, obviously we won both those Grand Prix. Singapore up next, hopefully could play into our hand. Oh, safety car! Safety car! There you go, that's what I want to see. I mean, a little bit unlucky that Frentzen hasn't pit as well. Who's out of the race? I think this is Kimi Räikkönen then down at turn 1. He's clearly made contact with somebody, but I can't see who. I don't know whether it's the McLaren or whether it was the other Minardi in the Jaguar. But either way, yeah, Räikkönen, I believe, is our first casualty of the afternoon. And not surprised with the car left there that that's been a safety car. Does mean, though, we've got a race to try and get back to the pit lane here, because there is an opportunity to try and get between those Williams cars. Villeneuve about 11 seconds back then. Obviously, normally a pit stop here would cost you about 20. But as Frentzen into the pit lane as well. Make sure I don't get done for speeding on the way in. But make sure we're nice and aggressive on pit lane entry as well then. This will allow, obviously, the entire field to bunch back up, though. So it might work quite nicely for us having a chance to fight with Ferrari anyways. There goes Villeneuve, so yeah, not going to be able to get past him. Where's Michael, though? That's the other important question here, because I think he was getting held up a little bit behind some slower cars anyway. Ziano Trulli in the pits. I think there is Michael Schumacher, so we have overcut our teammate there. So I guess that means at least we can try and attack the Williams. But as we cross then into the second half of the GP, let's wait and see then whether we can try and get a jump on Villeneuve and Frentzen here. Going to be very, very difficult. Even if I can get around them, staying ahead of them is going to be quite a challenge in of itself. I mean, we basically need to just try and nail the restart timing, don't we? As Frentzen trying to make his way through that final corner. He's not given the safety car much room to maneuver. Just up in front. I'm going to try... Oh, I didn't time that very well. There you go. Oh, we've absolutely messed that one up. I had to go for it. We had to try it at the very least then, as we're actually going to be vulnerable to our teammate Michael Schumacher back in towards turn 1 there. Will Villeneuve be able to do anything against Frentzen? So, cold tyres off of the restart. Got to be careful with those. I cannot afford to let those Williams get out of sight. We've got more yellows. We've got more yellow flags out then as we get towards the end of 14. So no idea now who might be out of this Grand Prix or what's gone on a bit further back. We'll wait and see if we get any cars that retire from the race, or is it just someone ran a little bit wide off of one of the corners there. Frentzen immediately coming in with another new fastest lap. We were 2 seconds slower that time around. And yeah, Michael Schumacher, he definitely seems to have a little bit more straight line speed than me here. It's not much. But any extra speed around this circuit is a huge bonus. Oh, this is what I was worried about as well. The second half of the Grand Prix, that gearbox wear just getting a little bit worse, so this might now be a big issue towards the end of the afternoon. It's third gear that we've lost this time, so I guess it's not awful. Definitely see it's a little bit sluggish, obviously pulling through. Luckily, where the lower gears after first are quite short in this car, shouldn't make too much of a difference. The only problem I have also immediately noticed is third gear is the one that I use for a lot of the corners here. Second chicane, Lesmos, Parabolica as well. We often like to leave it in third gear there just to make sure we get the rotation through the front end. See, that lap we were only 3/10 slower than my best anyway. But it just completely ruins any chance of fighting with those Williams. I mean, I was optimistic anyway, but you never know. It's a good excuse. I've got to give him some credit as well. Michael Schumacher, it's been a very, very topsy-turvy campaign for the Ferrari man. But this weekend, though, now he feels like he's got a chance at the podium. Maybe still annoyed that obviously I was able to overcut him into this P3. His pace has been absolutely relentless against us in this fight towards the end. We were not losing much time to Villeneuve for a couple of laps, but that gap now seems to be opening back up once more. It's just such a shame. Williams, I mean, it's BMW is what it is. BMW know how to build an F1 engine. Oh, we got another one gone. Someone's gone late on in the day. We got a safety car. What's happened? Well, I think this is Alex Wurz then, making his way out of the final corner. Is that Jenson Button, actually? Either way, one of those Renault cars out of the Grand Prix. And I believe that is... I think that's JB. I think, yeah, that might be Jenson Button for the second weekend in a row has had a mechanical failure. Okay, safety cars suddenly then through the final corner. Decided that it's going to be coming to an end at the end of this lap, so we've got to really try and time this restart against those two Williams cars. I think we're going about now then, and are we going to get close enough to Villeneuve before we get in towards turn 1? I think he's actually got a good run on Frentzen here, so look at this then, the Williams. Frentzen has absolutely dominated this Grand Prix up to this point, but now Villeneuve trying to attack him on the very, well, final couple of laps here. We will try and defend from Michael Schumacher, actually loses a spot to Jarno Trulli in the process, but how good would that have been if we see Villeneuve finally make the move on his teammate there? Schumacher will come straight back past Jarno. No idea what's going on behind me with Michael Schumacher and Jarno Trulli. They are still battling wheel to wheel, and it is giving us a fair little gap as a top 3 at the moment, but I just want to see Villeneuve get the run on Frentzen. Maybe have those two start battling wheel to wheel. I mean, imagine if they come together down at turn 1. That would have been complete chaos. Frentzen, let's not forget, he has led every single lap of this race up to this point. He has absolutely dominated this afternoon's proceedings here from the Temple of Speed. But if there's ever going to be an opportunity late on, a late safety car to help swing things, surely there is going to be an opportunity. 2 laps to go from the Temple of Speed. Are we going to see Schumacher again try and get a run on Jarno Trulli? I don't think he's able to again this time round. But yeah, I am far more invested in the battle in front over the battle behind. Well, I know we spoke about it in qualifying and how I was quite surprised that Sauber, their pace wasn't as good as I was expecting. As we moved into the Grand Prix, though, that car has really come alive. Jarno Trulli, let's not forget this is his home Grand Prix as well. Down at Sauber. Of course, the Italian driver there trying to defend from Michael Schumacher on the last lap of the Italian Grand Prix. For us, though, yeah, in a way that we've just had that a little bit more kind of high-end power over a lot of the other teams. That's exactly the kind of advantage that Williams have still held over us today. And ultimately, yeah, it's kind of between about 4th and 7th gear. Is where they've been able to pull away all their time as well. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, though, it really does feel at the moment that we are watching the making of a new Formula 1 world champion. He really just does not seem to put a foot wrong at the moment, despite late race pressure from his teammate and, of course, 1997 world champion in Jacques Villeneuve there. But in our first time of asking for Ferrari, it looks like we are going to join them on the podium. It is not where on the podium I would want to be, I can't lie to you guys, but to get a podium here at the Temple of Speed in front of the Tifosi is a pretty special feeling nonetheless. Out of the final corner, up towards the line, Williams 1-2, we will claim 3rd.
Here we are then, a thoroughly deserved win in Italy after another excellent Grand Prix. Tell me, Ant, how do you think they were able to deliver such an incredible result today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
Well, there we are then. Heinz-Harald Frentzen, pole position, fastest lap, race victory. That is the first genuine Grand Chelem we have seen this season there. Jacques Villeneuve in P2, ahead of myself. Jarno Trulli ahead of Michael Schumacher. It was Wirtz, not Button, that retired from the Grand Prix later on in the day. JB still able to come 6th ahead of Mark Webber, Zot Baumgartner, Danica Patrick, and David Coulthard as well. Come the end of the afternoon. 3 retirements from the Grand Prix. It was Wirtz, Alonso, and apparently Juan Pablo Montoya as well retired. I don't remember seeing that at any point in the Grand Prix, but disappointment there for the Colombian. What does that do to our championship, though? Well, it means Frentzen now, for the first time all year, the gap is up over 25 points. Frentzen with a 31-point buffer at the top of the table, so he now knows he could finish second to us every race between now and the end of the year, and that would be it. World Championship would go to the German there. Further down the order, though, Jarno Trulli gets the jump on Mark Genet. Jenson Button and Mark Webber get the jump on Rubens Barrichello as well. So still plenty of points battles going on right the way up and down the order. Constructors-wise, Williams now with a 52-point lead at the top of the Constructors. BAR still 3 ahead of McLaren, but Sauber now have really closed in on the pair of them there. Jaguar looking fairly comfortable in 6th. Renault looking pretty safe in 7th, ahead of Jordan, Toyota, and Minardi. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 returns ready for the Singapore Grand Prix.